Hey everyone, I'm Esther Perez, and if you are new here, don't forget to like and subscribe. For those of you who aren't new here, you know that I recently got married this year in April 2025, and it was the best destination wedding this world's ever had. If I do say so myself, it was just amazing. The best destination wedding. So, because of that, because I had just a wonderful, wonderful wedding, I really wanted to come up with this destination wedding planning series. And so, every week, multiple times in the week, I will be dropping a new episode about destination wedding planning. The series episodes will have all kind of different information like why destination wedding, why Cancun, why Majestic Elegance, budgeting, planning it remotely, the guest experience, the bachelorette party, the wedding, post wedding, honeymoon, thoughts on what else I would have done. So it's gonna be jam packed with a lot of information, but it's all gonna be very good, very relevant if you're planning a destination wedding or if you're hoping to get married abroad. So don't forget to like and subscribe to not miss an episode and get all of that information. So for today's episode, this is episode 1 of the series, and today's episode is why destination, why Majestic Elegance in Cancun. I have to take this like all the way back to 2023, 2024. It was like way before the wedding. We started planning like a year and a half in advance, maybe even a little bit before then, because I want to say we gave everyone like a year and some change when it came to getting ready for this big wedding. And we really wanted to give everyone like a large notice so they can plan it, use their PTO. Like there's a lot that goes into destination weddings, and we will get to all of that later on. But for right now, I had looked up other places that people were getting married, and way back in the day, it wasn't even going to be Majestic Elegance. Like, I was dead set on getting married at the Dreams Resort in Cancun. And Dreams has like a sister resort called Secrets, and that is the adult resort. And I originally really wanted to do the wedding at Dreams Resort and then honeymoon at Secrets. Everything changed. Everything changed once I started to get in more conversations around like what the cost would be for the guests. And that was the biggest like pain point for us. We did not care about like the credits we might get back for planning a wedding. More on that later. We did not care about really like how expensive it would be on us to have the wedding. We really wanted the cost on the guests to be minimal. And so when we were looking at the numbers of how much a room for 2 people would be at Dreams Resort in Cancun, the cost was very high. I don't know if I fully remember what the minimum price was for 3 nights at Dreams, but it was, I want to say like, if I can think off the top of my head, it was like around like maybe like 1,800. It was a little less than 2,000 a person. And that's not with the flight. That's just the stay 3 nights. And so it seemed really expensive. I really wanted the wedding there because that spot had so many amenities, and I had heard so many other destination brides have a great experience there. But at the end of the day, for me, even though it was going to be a destination wedding, I wanted to make it as easy as possible for the guests to get there. And so we scrapped that idea, switched the entire resort, backed out of that contract. Luckily, like thanks to Dreams, they were okay with us cutting the contract because it was like so much in advance. And so we pivoted. We let our destination like travel coordinator person know like we need to go with a cheaper option for the guest, and she immediately knew like what hotel was going to be beautiful, give great inclusive resort vibes, but also be a little better when it comes to price on the guest. So that is how we got on to Majestic Elegance in Cancun. Now, I do want to rewind a little bit on the why destination. So you might be wondering like, oh, well, if people can't go to your wedding, like why even do destination wedding? Or if it's like such a headache to plan it remotely, like Why not just stay where you're at, stay in the States? And there's so many different reasons why like we want a destination. And I think we knew we wanted destination for a couple key points. I think the first one was budget. It's weddings. Weddings are expensive. Everyone knows, like, I know it's a little like crass to talk about money, but like we're gonna get into money. So we knew we had a budget of $20,000, which I've said in other videos. Later on in these episodes, I will break down the invoice exactly to a T so you can even see how our money was spent. But we knew we wanted to spend 20,000, no more. From what we heard from our friends, like that is not possible in Ohio. And so we never even like looked at venues in Ohio, didn't look into catering in Ohio. Like we immediately were like, oh, a friend of ours got married and it was over 70,000 here in Ohio. And then another friend of ours who was also trying to plan on a budget, they got married for like over 35K. And so it's like, yeah, like that's not gonna work because like we're very strict and adamant on our budget. The next big idea was like, we know Cancun is a cheaper destination wedding. Aside from budget, we really wanted the wedding to feel like an entire experience. I think it makes me really sad when I hear brides say like the wedding day was like the worst day of their lives, like that it was like too much going on at once, like all packed into this one day. And so I was like, how can I ensure that it's a full, like beautiful experience that doesn't seem jam-packed into one day? And having the destination wedding really gives it like this upgraded experience. It's now not just one day of celebrating, it's all that like week or those 3 days that you're there celebrating. Everyone is there like for you, although they are like on their own vacation and enjoying their time with their loved ones as well. They're also there for you, and it just really gives it like just such a different experience for the wedding, which I think was really like what we wanted. We really wanted it to just be like a whole experience. Now, some other big on like the why destination, we knew that we had been to Cancun before and we loved it. We could swim in the ocean, there's a beach, there's other parts of Mexico where you're not able to go into the ocean because of like the cliffs. And for us, like it was like, no, we want to make sure we can get in. So we decided Cancun was the best spot for that. There's like fun excursions there and it's just absolutely beautiful. I knew I would have to pay like minimal when it comes to the decor because of how beautiful Cancun is. Another big seller on Cancun was, like I said, like I'm in Ohio. A lot of my guests were coming from Ohio. I also had family and friends coming from Texas. And so Cancun was like that nice point where like it wouldn't be out of the way for all of us. It would just be like straight down. We wouldn't have to go over like to the west coast, like in Los Cabos. I wouldn't be crossing a bunch of the like water in the ocean, like going over to Italy. It was just like right here, easy to get to. I think a lot of people had like 4 hours or less on their flight, and that was really nice and I think makes for a better guest experience. Now, your destination will definitely depend on like what do you value? Do you value a beach like we did? Do you value like castles and palace type scenery? Do you value like mountains or more of like a historical feel? So if you're thinking like what destination should I pick? Like you went with Cancun because you love the beach, like maybe if you love like palace and castle type feel, like you can look into Italy. I know Ireland, those areas are also doing destination weddings, but just keep in mind there's always going to be like pros and cons to the different locations. You really want to look at like what makes the most sense for you, your partner, and your guests, because it's not just you two traveling, everyone else is going also. But you need to also know that it's a destination wedding, so not everyone will be able to go. So I think I slept well at the end of the day because I know we did everything we could to make it like as easy to get to and as affordable. We got a destination wedding coordinator who did payment plans. So like we really tried our hardest to get everyone there. And so that was a great feeling for me. Some other items to consider when you're thinking like, should I do destination wedding? Like why do a destination wedding? Is the weather can be great depending on your destination, but like I'm in Ohio and like our weather is like not the best. So for me, like getting able to go and get like sun and swim in April in Cancun, it was amazing. Now, I will say, with whatever destination you pick, you really want to make sure you know the different regulations when it comes to the visa, the passport. We were doing Cancun around a time when like things are getting a little crazy. Like I had one aunt calling my mom saying like we might not be able to come back. Like make sure you all have your passports and make sure people have like their citizenship cards and like birth certificates, and like it was just a whole thing. So it was kind of scary, but at the end of the day, like everyone had their documentation. We all were able to get back. No one was like detained at the border, which has been happening, unfortunately, and that can be a separate topic for a whole nother day. But we were fine to travel April of 2025 to Cancun for our wedding. All of our guests got there fine and came back home just fine as well. So that is why we chose Majestic Elegance. We chose Cancun for the destination wedding. It definitely happened like sporadically, and I had never seen Majestic Elegance before going. So it was a lot of trust, a lot of social media stalking. But if you're planning a destination wedding, you're thinking about Cancun, I highly suggest looking into Majestic Elegance. There are pros and cons to everything in life. And so there's pros and cons to Majestic Elegance as well. But I do think my pros outweighed the con with them. And I would 100% have a wedding there again because overall the planning process was like very seamless. They were easy to work with when it comes to like the wedding planning process. And the resort itself was beautiful. All right, so that is the why destination wedding, why Cancun, why Majestic Elegance. Thank you so much for watching along this video. I really hope this helped clear up like anything surrounding like destination weddings in Cancun, like why do them. Also some questions about like how I had my wedding, or how I came up with having my wedding at Majestic Elegance. It wasn't something where I'm like, I have to do this like since forever. No, like I quickly pivoted and got to Majestic Elegance, but I'm very happy that's what I landed on. In the next video, I'll be talking a little more about what the process looked like once I actually knew I was going to get married and have a destination wedding, what that next step was when it comes to getting a travel coordinator, and sharing some really horrible stories of the planning process with my destination travel coordinator. I will say, like, the wedding coordination at Majestic Elegance was very seamless compared to this horrible experience I had with my travel coordinator. Tune in for the next episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can hear all about the next episode and how horrible my travel coordinator was. All right, that's it. Thank you so much. And I wish you all the best if you're planning a destination wedding.